Hello, I'm Red Warrior and I welcome you to my 100% speedrun tutorial of the current established speedrun route in 2019. Level 4, Argent Facility, will be the mission I'll walk you through in this video. Just as the previous one, Foundry, this level is not linear either and you can take several paths as you wish. However, I will cover a fast route, but even if you decide for a different route, you will end up being in the same fights with a similar way to approach them. Argent Facility contains two runes, Vacuum and Dazed Confused. They give you Vacuum right at the beginning, so you can equip it to already work on it until we get to the other rune. From then on, your focus should be on Dazed Confused, and ideally you want to master it by the end of this level. If you don't, no worries, you will have a couple of zombies at the start of the next level, but you shouldn't be too far from its mastery when we exit this level. Just as any further level, we get 3 new mission challenges, so let me talk about those briefly. Walk the path, interact with a rune trial stone. Bird's eye view, acquire the automap for the Argent Facility. To be knighted, perform 2 death from above glory kills on Hell Knights. As I've already mentioned, we'll get the first rune right off the bat, which will give us 9 total weapon points, so we can spend them on the rocket launcher's weapon mod Remote Detonation. Acquiring the automap is just as easy as walk the path. To be knighted can be somewhat tricky, considering you have to be on a higher level than the Hell Knight is. He's too tall for you to perform a death from above by simply jumping, as long as we don't have our double jump. Also, because you can use both Hell Knights along with Dazed Confused, you can ignore any Hell Knights until we get to this rune. So let's finally destroy the production of Argent energy, which is absolutely necessary. As soon as you gain control, make your way to the door, jump over the first rail and the objects lying on the ground to not bump into them. Now prepare for the grenade jump if you want to perform it. Of course you can always use the regular path. The setup and the reference point are really easy though. Jump onto this ledge, aim roughly at those stripes, drop a grenade and instantly start running while using a scroll jump. Then go around the pillar and scroll jump literally at the last possible frame before you would drop down. You may want to practice this a little, but you have more room to walk on than you might think. It's similar to the Gorner skip in the video about level 2. As for this rune trial, there aren't any secrets to talk about. However, you may pay attention to where the first couple of imps spawn, so you can roughly plan out your route. But other than that, simply shoot them until they die. You don't have to worry about dying yourself in here, because every rune trial has a lower difficulty they run on, and even imps can miss you a lot. After killing all of them, hold down enter once again to quickly exit the trial. We've already learned to take advantage of the responsive UI. So with acquiring a new rune, hitting tab will instantly lead you to the rune menu as soon as the notification shows up. Equip Vacuum, go over to the Weapons tab and upgrade Remote Detonation, because now we've gained our next 9 weapon points. Now go to the lever and classic level secret. Also pick up this codex. Before we start the slaughter, let me point out a few quick notes. You can get 2 fairly easy ticks for Remote Detonation here. You have 3 imps to your right and 3 zombies in front of you behind the shield guy. You need the first rocket to go to the imps, otherwise they spread out upon seeing you. Your second rocket should go towards the zombies. If you are low on rockets, you can chainsaw the shield guy, because you will need a few for the rest of this fight and at least 1 when leaving it. So now kill everyone in the first phase. After clearing out the first wave, you have 3 imps spawning in, and they're somewhat influenced by the direction you're looking into. If you are lucky and are standing on top of the object in the middle and look into this direction, you may have these imps spawning next to each other, almost guaranteeing you a Remote Detonation tick. However, it's more than likely that they don't. As soon as they're dead, prepare for the Hell Knight to join. Considering I don't bother with the challenge to be knighted before I acquire the next rune, Dazed Confused, I kill him right away. Feel free to go for it here if you want to, because he is a fairly easy Hell Knight. Towards the end of this level in the cooling room, you will see an easy way of staggering a Hell Knight reliably and fast. So as long as this one here is alive, you'll have an imp spawn in there as well, so be mindful of him. Simply walk off this ledge, you can land safely without an impact compensation. It may be possible that you have to mantle the ledge down below, but it is very unlikely to fall into your death, so don't worry about that. Prepare your assault rifle to snipe the barrel in the far back, approach and jump over this beam to trigger the 3 imps guarding the token. You want the barrel gone before you pass the beam, otherwise you lose an opportunity for remote detonation. The stun bomb is not necessary, but it makes it easier to kill all imps with one remote detonation. Because if demons stand in a line in relation to where the rocket explodes, the first one absorbs it all and the demon behind him will not take any damage whatsoever. So while they're stunned, you have more control over the moment when to detonate your rocket manually, so you increase the chances of actually getting a tick for remote detonation. And believe me, you want to make use of every opportunity you can get until this weapon mod is mastered. With this token, we're having 6 ones in total, and all of them are going into maxing out power-up effectiveness. One reason for this is because we're going to pick up a haste power-up at the end of this level, but of course you benefit from all further power-ups you're going to grab. For a fast purchase, hit tab after you see the notification for the acquired token, followed by 2 left arrow keys and holding down enter to instantly buy all 3 upgrades. You basically know this technique already from buying previous weapon upgrades. However, as for Predator Suit tokens, you always start on the leftmost upgrades for environmental safety, so you have to memorize where all 5 different upgrade categories are located. But no worries, I will tell you this whenever I'm spending my tokens. So if you upgraded while jumping over the first beam here, you don't even lose time, because you don't lose momentum mid-air. Now make your way to the field drone. I'm going to get the tech scope for my assault rifle, but you can choose micro missiles as well. It doesn't matter too much because we'll get the other respective mod next level, but the idea behind this is you can master the next rune Dazed Confused fairly easily when you know how to stagger certain demons reliably. The advantage for micro missiles would be that you can stagger imps with one shot, however you need to aim precisely to hit them considering they're fairly squishy, so choose either of the mods and pick up the gas fuel. If you choose the tech scope, use your down arrow key. And for micro missiles, use right arrow first and then down arrow key. In both cases hit enter twice to confirm. Run to the gore nest, and after you've cleared the imps guarding it, pull the plug, throw a grenade for a possible first kill and make a mad dash over to the token while ignoring everyone. Timing is crucial because of the alerted Hell Knight that's following you. Grab the token and prepare your chainsaw. Be very mindful of that Hell Knight, he can be a run killer, so it's perfectly fine if you do a safer route when getting started with this run. Killing him triggers a second Hell Knight joining the fight, but don't kill him just yet. He is the trigger enemy here and his presence lets lesser demons respawn such as imps, razors and soldiers. You can make use of that to farm just enough combat ratings so that you can fully ignore the optional gore nest. You need to farm at least 2 soldiers or 3 imps and then kill the Hell Knight and everyone else. The door leading to the inside is not affected by the fight, so if you don't see the remaining monster you can go in and kill the zombies with remote detonation and grab the codex. By that time, the last monster usually comes for you. For the next jump upwards to the doll, to my knowledge scroll jump is mandatory, at least I haven't managed to do it with a normal space jump. First jump onto this crate and then onto the ledge of this beam. From there use scroll jump to reach the doll. For some reason it takes up to a few seconds before you physically pick up the doll, so if you want to, keep switching your weapons after mantling and you pick it up instantly. But of course, not grabbing this doll does not violate the rule set, so don't worry.
We're only temporarily disabling the tower. You need to remove each lens individually. Carefully release the hinges
Dude, he said carefully. Carefully. Why don't you listen to Sam? Save your ammunition, I meant save your wrath for the next imps. Run towards the room which contains the Argent cell. If the imps cooperate, you can get a tick for remote detonation. When the left imp touches the ground, stun the front imps, and there's a chance that the one in the rear comes to you, so all three blow up to one rocket. Sadly, he decided to do a charged attack, so he didn't move at all. This room holds 6 imps in total, so when you killed them, go to the Argent cell. If you watched the previous videos, you know that I'm maxing out ammo first, so again, navigate to it with a quick hit on your left arrow key followed by enter. Now go to the next filter and give it a special treatment, and once you're done, get to the second rune trial of this level, Dazed and Confused.
You must stop. The hell energy is unusable without the filters.
Warning.
What you are destroying is more valuable than you.
After interacting with the runestone, hold down enter to escape Sam's monologue and, well, to save time. The only thing worth mentioning in this rune trial is that the closer you are to a barrel, the more likely it is to hit it with a pistol. As you may know, the pistol shots spread out in a fairly big area, so to minimize the spread and maximize the hits, you need to be closer to them. Although a charged shot can be helpful at times as well when you want to snipe a barrel from afar. Before we continue, I want to point out a few things about how to stagger demons reliably. I mentioned this earlier, so as for imps, shoot one well-placed micro-missile at them or carefully use your assault rifle's bullets. I personally tend to shoot every shot manually as opposed to holding down my fire button because I don't want to accidentally kill them. The more you commit to stagger a demon for Dazed and Confused, the more time you would lose if you killed him by accident. Possessed soldiers can absorb more damage than imps. There are several ways to stagger them, depending on your distance. If you are close to them, most of the times even one point-blank shotgun blast can stagger them. With a little more distance, use your shotgun once and then pump bullets into him until he staggers. If you're even further away and safe from your own explosives, an explosive shot next to him staggers him as well, but do not land a direct hit, otherwise the master cluster strike kills him. Another way is to manually detonate a rocket next to him, but be aware that as well as cluster strike, a direct rocket finishes him off instantly. The easiest way for shield guys is to use a rocket and detonate it behind their back. Razors work the same, either detonate the rocket next to them or land a direct rocket on them. Be careful with cluster strike, razors explode upon a direct hit. Lastly, we need at least one staggered Hell Knight. The most forgiving way is to detonate 2 rockets next to him, because you don't have to aim perfectly with them thanks to the weapon mod's features, and use a few bullets to stagger him. It is very important that against Hell Knights you do not want to land direct hits on them, because you need the damage output from the rocket's shrapnel, which deal damage over time. Note that this only applies to when you want him staggered, otherwise blast him away. A second approach is to use again one remotely detonated rocket to make use of the shrapnel followed by a direct hit from your cluster strike. To give you a better idea of how remote detonation works, let's take a brief look at its upgrades. Improved warhead simply increases the splash radius, but the jagged shrapnel in our case is the main damage dealer out of these upgrades. You can actually see them sticking out of demons, and they are the reason why demons sometimes stagger spontaneously on their own. Maybe now you realize, in case you have not before, why Mastered Remote Detonation is so incredibly powerful. Every rocket you land as a direct hit deals the default rocket damage, plus the damage output by both of its upgrades. You shouldn't expect to have it mastered before Gear, and there you will notice the difference of mastered and non-mastered remote detonation, because you will face bigger demons such as the Mancubus or Baron throughout the level, and they simply melt to your alpha rotation with the mastered rocket launcher in the mix. With all that in mind, let's continue our rampage in Argent Facility. Now it is time to swap Vacuum with Dazed Confused. Wait a couple of seconds until you see the notification, hit tab and swiftly swap the runes. If you went for the grenade jump at the start of the level and were in the red health, you may have good progress on Vacuum already due to the first health pickups in the first fight. Demons always drop health regardless of glory kills when you have around 40 health or less. The first chainsaw kill on the Hell Knight at the first Gornist also contributed to Vacuum. We will make use of this particular technique in level 6, the Gear Sanctum, quite a lot. Even if you find yourself having less progress on Vacuum right now, don't worry. The rune Dazed Confused needs 25 deaths from above, so keep that in mind. It might take a while to get used to that you have to jump quite a bit for the sake of this rune. Approaching this Gornist from the inside of this facility, you will encounter 2 soldiers and a razor. You would find 3 imps instead if you came from the outside. And by the way, this is the optional Gornist we won't deal with. Shoot a rocket over to the barrels next to the soldier, and if you want, pump bullets into the closer shield guy before he brings up his shield, so you can kill him from above. Be careful with the shotgun there, you'll never know if you hit a barrel by accident. You can also kill both soldiers right away, in the end it doesn't matter that much really. The razor, however, is a good target for Dazed Confused, considering he's in the path we're taking to the next Praetor Suit token anyway. Now shoot rockets over to the zombies, and with a little bit of luck you kill 3 of them with Remote Detonation. Make sure to kill the Razor as well, he's important for the tight combat rating with this route. It's time to visit the Botanic room now. You'll have a group of zombies to your right and at the stairs in front of you. Good opportunities for Remote Detonation. The ones to the right tend to credit you for that, but the ones at the stairs sometimes don't care about your rocket much. If someone survives, melee him once, jump and kill him from above. After all the zombies are dead on this floor, you'll have 2 imps at the stairs joining the roaming zombies from the upper floor. You'll have 5 demons on the stairs here, so chances for you are likely to kill at least 3 of them to farm Remote Detonation. By that time, 1 imp will attack you from the right hand side. Use him and any stragglers for Dazed Confused. As for this soldier calmly walking down the stairs, you'll never get him to stagger unless you give him time to position himself on the stairs leading to the lower floor and bring up his shield. He always behaves like that, so just kill him. After cleaning the upper floors, take down the remaining shield guy downstairs by detonating a rocket behind his back and jump onto him. If you were fast up to this point, he usually stays downstairs. However, if you're a bit slower, which would be completely fine, be mindful of that soldier, because then he comes for you, and if you're not prepared for that, he can end your run easily. If that's the case, either stun him carefully or blindly shoot a rocket to stagger him, because you have to back off and cannot see him on the stairs anymore. As soon as he is dead as well, 2 razors spawn in. Their spawns are fairly random, but most of the times you have both of them or at least one on the lower floor. If you find only one of them down here, the other one spawned in on the upper floor. There's still a chance that both of them spawn upwards. So if you're blessed by RNG, you should have gotten 3 ticks for Remote Detonation. While this should have priority by all means, failed ticks can be made up for Dazed Confused, so it's at least something you can do about that. Grab the codex and pick Lock on Burst from the field drone. Now there's one particular technique I haven't talked about yet. You can instantly alternate between weapon mods for the same weapon without having the animation. Simply hit your switch weapon mod key and instantly switch to a different weapon. When you're back to the previous weapon, you'll have the other respective mod equipped. It may take a few attempts to get used to, especially during combat, but it is very easy to pull off. Although the only times you would have to do it during the fight is when you kill summoners with lock on burst, in an Argent when you need to alternate between precision bolt and siege mode. I'm fairly certain that Dr. Samuel Hayden is still not mad enough, so let's achieve that quest. We'll go through the Botanic room in real time now and keep continuing from there on. So switch back to Remote Detonation, pass by those zombies, turn around and farm them with your rocket. Sometimes the game recognizes a successful tick a bit later, so wait for it. If you don't see it by the time you're at the doll secret, the engineer probably blew the others up before your rocket did. So pick up the doll if you want to, or simply activate the secret. Jump through this window and get the super shotgun, but at least try to get a remote detonation here as well. If someone survives other than the engineer, use him for Dazed Confused. Your first thing to do in the cooling room is to make a mad dash for the shield guy while shooting one rocket to each of the 3 imps near the jump pad and both of the beams to your left. If you're fast enough, you can start hitting the shield guy with bullets to prepare him for your rocket before he has his shield up. Shoot a rocket and you will get a remote detonation tick there with the 2 additional zombies. If you're too late and his shield is up, stun him, shoot bullets and then your rocket. But keep in mind that stunned demons do not stagger, so be careful with your bullets. At this point there is still 1 imp, 1 razor and 2 zombies alive you can use for Dazed Confused. They will come for you, so ignore them for right now and go to the automap secret. By the time you interact with the automap, the imp most likely enters the room. Initiate the fight and prepare your rockets. From earlier we learned 2 ways to stagger a Hell Knight. Here I prefer using 2 rockets to each of his sides, followed by a few bullets. When staggered, jump onto the rail and finish him off from above for both the challenge to be knighted and the rune Dazed Confused. The rest of the fight has some RNG, but typical spawning locations for imps, razors and soldiers are between the door we entered into the cooling room and where the Hell Knight spawned. Or next to where the Gornist was, or on both the lower and upper floor. Generally, you should work on Dazed Confused with close demons. The ones who are too far from you, simply kill them, or otherwise you would be losing precious time. If you see several demons close to you, try staggering them all before you perform a glory kill, simply so that they do not run away from you and you can control them. However, if you happen to have 3 demons close to each other, you can also try to get remote detonation. But when doing so, you would have to damage everyone except for imps with bullets first, otherwise they don't blow up to your rockets. As soon as the door to the 3rd filter is open, go there and grab the codex first before destroying the filter. Equip your chainsaw and welcome your first summoner of the game by giving her a dental care. Immediately turn around and shoot a rocket slightly above you to instantly stagger the Hellraiser and without damaging yourself. He is always there. Usually you have a couple of demons spawning in to your left where the Hell Knight spawned earlier, so keep a look at that location. Before we grab the haste power up and run to the final gore nest, let me show you this entire fight in the cooling room in real time first.
Demon breach detected. Demon presence of critical limits. Warning. Energy contamination. Remote breach detected.
Thanks to maxed out power-up effectiveness, this haste lasts forever, and with the most recent discovered shortcut by ByteMe, you can even pick up the berserk before the haste wears off. Simply run upwards, ignore the gore nest and mantle the left side of this door frame. It might be a bit awkward doing this from the ground, it is actually easier if you jump on the rail and jump off of it to the door frame. Turn to your left and jump against the wall. You can actually walk there, so as long as you hug the wall, you should not fall down. In order to trigger the demons now, simply touch the door and you can progress as intended. Try your best with remote detonation on those 3 demons hugging the gore nest. If you're unlucky, you can finish them off with a death from above for Dazed Confused. Destroy the gore nest and rush to the berserk. This Hell Knight always spawns in there, so mantle the crate and punch him from above to complete To Be Knighted. The Hell Knight's death causes the summoner to spawn in. Her spawn location is fixed, so run towards and punch her before she can teleport away. If Dazed Confused is not mastered yet, you can run towards demons, jump, preferably with scroll jump, and look down to the ground and you should kill them from above. But there's still a chance that you do not get a death from above anyways. Let's watch this last sequence in real time once more.
We spent decades perfecting the science, selling it to humanity. We balanced their hell energy with our science, making it usable and safe. We solved an energy crisis the world had no answer for. It works. You cannot do this.
Now that everyone is dead, go to the final filter of this level and complete the objective. Ignore the last Bradesy token right now, we will pick it up during Samuel's rant.
Stopping our energy production is what you want, then you need only to destroy this last filter, and Argent energy will no longer exist in this solar system. We will be back at square one.
Now you have time to switch weapon mods from Remote Detonation to Lock on Burst. Do it now or while waiting for the exit door to open. It is important for the very beginning of the next level. Pick up the token and spend your points on Dexterity 2, which allows you to grab ledges faster. It is both faster and safer, considering you aren't exposed as much on one location while you're mantling. Dexterity is the rightmost category, so by accessing it pretty much instantly, wait for the notification, hit tab, left arrow key and enter twice. Also, just as important, have your plasma rifle equipped before you exit this level. You will see and understand at the start of Argent Energy Tower why you should prepare Lock on Burst as well as your plasma rifle right now. Let's briefly recap this level. It pretty much boils down to get as much progress to Remote Detonation as possible while performing lots of death from above. 2 of the mission challenges are not a problem at all and will be done along the way. The third one with the Hell Knights can be done while mastering Dazed Confused. Even though combat rating itself is not an issue in this level, you should be mindful during your engagement with the first Gornist to squeeze out just enough demons so you can completely ignore the optional Gornist. And I mean it like that, because it doesn't lock down any doors and doesn't open any new areas after you destroy it. Ignoring this fight is a big time saver. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you in the next level, Argent Energy Tower.